Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Now, I'm still here with Don Morton. We're going to talk about your high school years now, which for most teenagers, not even going through a situation like you did, it can be extremely tough. Kids can be tough. So what were those years like for you?
They weren't easy because during my high school years, I looked like I do now, but I'd be wearing dresses. And I was very large-breasted, so it was real hard because most people thought I was just lesbian, and so I got teased for that. So I as I said, I went into theater, so I could be a boy on stage, and no one would know that what I was acting out was what I really felt. So it was all right. It was better than the childhood because as I was older, I was bigger, so people were kind of more afraid to say things to me, but they were still pretty cruel.
Right, so you said theater. That, as you explained it to me, was your saving grace.
Yes.
How so?
In acting, no one would know that I was being what I wanted to be, so I could be anything. I could say anything, and I'm just entertaining. So I could be myself at those times, and I loved the theater. I loved being in front of a crowd, saying what I felt. I'm sharing all these important feelings, and they're thinking I'm just acting it out. So it was good. It was safe. It was safe.
So for once in your life, you were able to actually be who you were, and people couldn't judge you.
Couldn't judge me because they didn't know. And I never told anyone. I didn't tell anyone in school. No one, except for a teacher years later.
Now, Don, as you said, people said you would think of you as a lesbian or, So, I mean, what is your sexual orientation?
I identify as a gay man.
As a gay man?
Yes.
So a lot of people would ask you, if you are attracted to men, why did you make the change to be a man?
Yes.
And how would you answer that?
Because my sexual orientation had nothing to do with my gender. I was male inside. I felt male inside. Everything was male, but sexually, I was attracted to men. Now, fate would have had it, I could have been born female, but as female, I still would have been attracted to men. So my gender did not dictate my orientation. I just happened to be a gay man. And that's what I thought I was even as a child. I thought, okay, I'm a little boy, but why do I like other little boys? So it didn't, it's never been, my sexuality has never been the issue. It's always been the gender, what I was feeling on the inside and not matching on the outside.
Right, and a lot of people would say gender is, an anatomy, a thing of the anatomy, human anatomy.
Yes.
What is gender to you?
That's a really hard question for me because I always feel that to me, gender it's almost fluid. It's not your physical form, it's your spiritual form. And I've always believed that spiritually I'm male. And to me, male means, protector, comforter, lover, something that's strong and supportive of everyone, not just female, not just male, but supportive and respectful. That's how I've always seen a man. And so that's what I felt that my gender meant to me, being a man, not just being male, but being a man.
In high school, there's a lot of changes that are going on. Many students will lose their virginity during
Yes.
these years, and you did. So can you tell me about that, your first sexual experience by choice?
By choice. It's a blur. I usually block out most of my sexual experiences unless I'm spiritually and emotionally attached to the person. The sexual experience is more like rape or molestation. So I sort of black them out. So the first actual experience was more just touching, things like that, and it was with a guy. So very scary, very scary.
It must have been confusing.
Yes, because what they were doing is what they would do with a female, and I felt male. So that's really why I avoided any type of sexual contact.
And so at this point in your life, you reached rock bottom.
Mm.
Can you tell me about your suicide attempts?
When I was about 18, I was so tired of waking up and putting on this mask and trying to be female that it got to where I couldn't do it anymore. And I knew, I can't do this. So I went home after stopping at the store and buying up as many sleeping pills as I could. And I went in the room, I wrote out my suicide letter, and I set it on the desk, and I laid down in the bed after taking the pills to die. And I stayed awake for 2 days. And for some reason, they didn't work. And that was even worse, because I even failed at that. You know, I failed at being a man, and now I'm failing at even taking my own life. So it wasn't good.
Okay, Don, thank you for sharing that with us. And coming up next, we're going to discuss Don's adulthood and his first surgery, what he describes as the first step in making him whole.